You're listening to the John and Heidi Show, now featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris, brought to you by Sioux Falls. No, Sioux Empire. It's brought to you by us.
You can do it.
Sioux Empire. SiouxEmpireJobs.com.
Good boy.
You got it right.
Way to pull it out of the flames there, John.
How you doing there, sir?
Doing pretty well. Let's say who's celebrating today, who we partying with. Carmen Electra. Whatever happened to her?
I don't know.
She was a big thing for
She was for a long time.
I got to do an audio project with her back in the day.
She's 49.
Is she?
Okay.
Nice. I didn't realize how old she was.
George, and I've never been real clear on the pronunciation of his last name. Taki. He was the original. He was the original Solo in the Star Trek TV series. 84 today.
Yeah, he's pretty feisty on Facebook too.
Holy cow!
And
he's
Twitter and
a
all that stuff.
total hippie.
He's a bit of a hippie, yeah.
And he's never been a huge star, but he's just one of those actors where I just always enjoy whatever he does. Like Ronnie's little brother, Clint Howard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's kind of funny. I like him.
He was a child star in Gentle Ben, the TV series.
He was also on Andy Griffith's show.
And
he was like the neighbor kid.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I just started watching the original Andy Griffith series again a couple of weeks ago. And just loving it. It's just hilarious.
He was like a little neighbor kid that's on that. So.
Yeah, and Adam Sandler throws him a bone every time he makes a movie.
Yeah, but and I always love the part that he has because it's always some bit part.
That's what I mean.
But it's just really kind of
stands out.
Perfectly using that guy.
Yeah, Clint is 62 today.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's see. I remember this well, and I'm not quite sure where all the money went, but darn it, good for her, because this was huge back in 1992 this day, and it made national news. Madonna signs a $60 million deal with Time Warner.
Oh, wow. 60 million bones. That's a lot of bones.
Back in 1992, yeah.
Back when $60 million was still a lot of money.
Yeah, that could maybe get you a decent little house, maybe a Chevrolet.
Yeah, something like that.
Tank of gas. 1979, President Jimmy Carter this was so hilarious. President Jimmy Carter is attacked by a swamp rabbit.
What?
He's out fishing. I'm dead serious. He's out fishing in Plains, Georgia. And I mean, this made the national news, too. He was sitting in his little fishing boat, and a swamp rabbit came right up to the boat, tried to get in. Jimmy Carter beat it with an oar.
Oh, no
What is a swamp rabbit?
I've never heard of such a thing.
But that lives in the swamp.
When we get to S, maybe Ranger Dan will go through that one for us.
Serious. Dial up whenever you have time. Just dial up, search President Jimmy Carter swamp rabbit 1979. You should be able to.
Funny.
Yeah, it was.
He was the sitting president at the time then.
Oh, yeah. Then he's being interviewed by the media about it, and it's like he'd seen an alien or something. It was pretty funny.
He also has seen an alien.
He has. He's been around. And, as a president, he would have made a really good home builder. And in 2008, and I only bring her up because when I get cremated, I want some of my ashes thrown right on her, Danica Patrick.
Oh, I thought it was Paula Abdul.
I'm splitting them up.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
You want them thrown on her while she's still alive?
Yes.
Duh.
It'd be pretty gross.
Write this stuff down, John. I don't want this screwed up.
I have to.
Are we in charge of this?
Not anymore.
Excuse me, Danica. Look this way.
Yeah, so anyway, here's the story. It was this day in 2008. Danica Patrick wins the Indy Japan 300.
Yeah, I remember that.
First female driver in history to win an Indy Car Series race.
It was a big deal.
Ever.
Very big deal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She made the big time. And then she dated quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
What's his name?
What's his name now? Now he's engaged to somebody else. Blah, 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 blah.
How did that end?
Aaron Rodgers. Badly.
Okay. Well, let's just move on then.
Badly. Hey, ladies, I'm no big judge of character, but if you're single and, don't date a Green Bay Packer. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't. There's something going on there. I don't know what exactly, but there you go. Hey, I know, we all know. We just bang right ahead.
We're going to do that. It is the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris, brought to you by SiouxEmpireJobs.com. Are you ready to travel again?
Join us for the best week of your life.
The Sands is an immersive Gen X era experience for 5 sun-filled and fun-filled days at Dreams and Secrets all-inclusive resorts in Cancun.
Enjoy music from Billy Idol,
Cheap Trick,
Little River Band,
The Hooters,
Tesla,
Wang Chung,
Firehouse,
Honeymoon Suite,
CNC Music Factory,
The Jets, and more.
Make plans to join us for the Sands.
October 25th through 30th.
Learn more now at radiotravelgroup.com.
That's radiotravelgroup.com. Time now for Ranger Dan's Critter Corner.
Well, I'm ruggedly handsome. I'm a heck of a man. I mess around with nature whenever I can.
He's Ranger Dan.
Yes, sir, I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I love the little critters and the big critters, too. Like to cook them up in a tasty stew.
He's Ranger Dan.
Yes, sir, I'm Ranger Dan. Well, it's time for Critter Corner right here on Sunny. If you like the show, then send me some money.
He's Ranger Dan.
Cash and credit card only. Yes, sir, I'm Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
The heartfelt, snappy little salute off the Wells Dodge firm of the Ranger Dan Captain YouTube, Boris! Heidi!
Ranger Dan.
Heidi, smelling good for a girl over there, Heidi.
Thank
Gee, won't
you.
lie to you. Hey, we've been working our way through the old gosh dang American alphabet here, and we're making some progress learning about critters that start with the various letters of the alphabet, and if memory serves me, we're up to K's today.
All right.
We're delving into K's. Critter with K's, well, gosh darn it, you got your king penguin, you got your koala bears, killer whales.
Oh, wow.
Killer whales look like great big giant old-timey police cars. You got Komodo dragons and the kiwi, which is a bird, a fruit, and a brand of shoe polish.
Yes, it is.
You got your koi, that's just a cute name for a fancy carp. Your kingfisher, that's a bird that, it fishes, gosh darn it. And who can leave out kittens? Well, nobody. Kittens, I love a good kitten. Kittens are cute till they're all grown up and basically spend every waking minute just figuring out ways to kill you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's talk about a K critter who's got to be probably everybody's favorite in the world of the letter K, and that's the kangaroo.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love kangaroos.
I love a good old kangaroo. Kangaroos, and this is interesting, gather around a little radio rangers, critter knowledge on the kangaroo. Now, mostly, kangaroos hang around in Australia. Now, Australia, so you know, that's a great big island, which is referred to as down under, which means it's under other places, such as other big islands like Alaska. Now, kangaroos are what's known specifically as, the term is, kangaroos are known as marsupials. Marsupials, meaning they are part of a group of animals known as marsupials. Now, there's lots of them, make no mistake. Boy, you get that Australia way, that down under place, they're everywhere. You can't swing a dead kangaroo without hitting a live one. There's so many of them, they can be gosh darn deadly. In fact, and this is a fact, more Australian people are killed every year by kangaroos than sharks.
No kidding.
Yep.
Whoa.
When is Kangaroo Week going to be?
Now, kangaroos do not emit, this is getting real sciencey here, so pay attention. Kangaroos, and this is fascinating, do not emit what's called methane gas.
So they
Okay.
don't toot.
Like other critters, like cows,
Yeah.
which are big on the methane. Somehow that gas, some way or another, is just kind of bottled up, and you should never approach a kangaroo with an open flame. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. Now, if, little radio rangers, some of this might be a little, sexy, I guess. So be aware there, Ranger Mom and Ranger Dad. We're going to talk some mating stuff here because things are about to get weird. Kangaroos really, really, really appear to be big fans of mating.
No.
In fact, the female kangaroo happens to have not one, not two, but 3 female down theres.
Oh, really?
Oh, my.
Yes. I don't know why, but I'm guessing kangaroo OBGYNs keep very busy. Female kangaroos are also, listen to this, adult female kangaroos are almost always year-round, always pregnant.
Really?
And that's all of them.
Wow.
Yes, which is also why male kangaroos are always pretty happy and spend a large part of their adult lives just rolling over and going to sleep. Well, that's all the time we have today, little Radio Rangers. I hope you learned something from Critters with K there. Till next time, is Ranger Dan out. Say it with me.
Yes, sir.
Addiction. It's a problem for many, and addiction can drive away those who love you the most. Addiction can also lead to the loss of jobs, broken relationships, and, if you're not careful, addiction can even cost you your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at Time4Rehab.com. We want to help. Time4Rehab.com. That's Time4Rehab.com.
Time now for your morning coffee break, brought to you by Kaladi's Bistro on the corner of 26th and Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Dan Farris back in the studio. Is this like hard-hitting news or lighthearted news?
No, I love this story because I know a number of people, and it seems more and more, urban people doing their own gardens.
Yeah.
Remember how much fun we had when Heidi decided to do a garden last year?
She has a green thumb tip.
It was a constant source of just hilarity.
Yeah. She had the cutest little ears of corn. Tiny, dinky little ears of corn.
It was a strange experience. So I
She was trying her hand at shade gardening.
stumbled across this. Cities across America, which are deemed the worst to actually grow a garden.
Really?
And it's stuff in urban gardening, and they refer to it as urban gardening. Best places, worst places, compiled by a company called Lawn Starter, which ranks these places based on about a dozen factors or so, including climate, of course, access to supplies, average yard size, that sort of thing. And I thought that was kind of interesting because Sioux Falls sure as heck did make the list.
We did or did not?
Did. These are the worst cities in the country.
See, it's not my fault.
To try the backyard urban garden thing. Okay, Omaha, Nebraska is at number 10.
Heidi probably actually broke the curve on this one.
I was going to say, our listing was far better until Heidi grabbed that trowel last year. Yeah. St. Paul, Minnesota, number 9. Huh. It's pretty much all Midwest, which kind of makes sense.
Oh, yeah, I suppose because the weather and stuff.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin's at 8, followed by Columbus, Ohio, and then Detroit, Michigan, Aurora, Colorado. Colorado Springs, Colorado's at number 4. Chicago, Illinois at 3. The second worst city to do urban gardening in the country is Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Not my fault.
According to the criteria.
Not my
that
fault.
That seems quite weird.
I'm positive it's your fault.
We used to be number 12. And then Heidi, last year, you really kind of messed up that curve.
Worst location for urban gardening in the country, Anchorage, Alaska, because it's an island.
Makes a lot. It's not an island.
Just trying to get supplies to it is impossible.
It makes a lot more sense.
But yeah, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I just thought that was fascinating.
By the way, the worst place to plant your garden is in the shade. Heidi would be able to attest to that.
And I think that's probably why, because it becomes a running joke every late summer. Everybody in the Midwest is literally running around with 85,000 pounds of zucchini.
Oh, yeah.
Except for me.
Apparently, that will grow anywhere.
It doesn't.
Except Heidi. Yes.
Did you see her tomatoes last year?
My tomatoes were fine.
They were adorable.
I had to put on my readers.
Yeah.
It was the carrots.
When I say they're cute as a button, I meant to say they were the size of a button.
They were cherry tomatoes. They were supposed to be.
Still.
So the tomatoes were fine. It was my carrots.
Yeah, the carrots were an inch long.
What was the effort, though? It gave you a lot of joy.
It did. It gave us even more joy to make fun of her. It was awesome.
The 10 best cities, in case you care, pretty much all down south. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 cities in Miami, 3 in California, and 1 in Louisiana. So
nice.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. So if you want a good garden, you're supposed to move, apparently.
I think you can get it done here. It just takes a lot more work and I guess a little expertise. I don't know.
You should find a gardening expert to help Heidi this year.
Can't be that hard.
I think it needs just...
I've got it under control.
Well, we're going to have more sun this year. That's going to help because we cut down the trees that were blocking the garden. Well, Dan, thank you for the update, sir.
It's the very least I can do, John, and I'm a big fan of working like that.
There you go. Coming your way at 9 a.m. today, we have another chance for people to be listening for the keyword. Chance to win $1,000 from your friends here at Sunny and our friends at Car Swap.
Make it rain in here.
Yeah. Yesterday was the first day of that, and it was pretty cool to see all the folks that actually did participate, which is cool. But it's every weekday. Car Swap and Sunny are going to give you a chance to win $1,000. You can get all the details, and it's actually pretty cool. First time you fill out the form, it takes a little while to fill it out. Then after that, it's literally just entering the keyword. So it takes a little extra time the first time. After that, super simple. All of the details at sunnyradio.com.
If you're looking for special prices on some pretty amazing products, check out the website radiosavings.com. We're adding new items all the time, so you might find something cool. And you can save money when you buy stuff at radiosavings.com. One other thing many people like, many of the products you'll find at radiosavings.com are made in the USA. Good quality items at great prices. Radiosavings.com.
We can save you more.
Radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Time now for a bright spot of news brought to you by Paul's Designer Showroom on Lake Lorraine in Sioux Falls. They can brighten any room with a beautiful light fixture. We are going to brighten your day right now with some positive news. I have joining me on the phone Jamie L. Wood. She is with the SBA in Sioux Falls. They've got a program called the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. You can find it at sba.gov/restaurants. Jamie, tell me a little more about the program.
You bet. So the Restaurant Revitalization Fund is a program specific to America's restaurants and bars that are located all over this great country. But right here in South Dakota, we know that there's over 2,000 restaurants, and I haven't gotten a count yet on how many bars there are, but I think there's a lot of those, too, that are going to be eligible to apply for this. So the Restaurant Revitalization Fund is actually a program that is similar to a grant. The money is free. It doesn't have to be paid back. But this is called a fund, and there is an application process for this. That's going to be competitive across the United States. Now, there's several billions of dollars that have been set aside as part of the American Rescue Plan that President Biden signed off on several weeks ago, earlier this year. And so the Restaurant Revitalization Fund has been a program that we've been hearing, quite a bit about, just really that it was coming, but we didn't really have a lot of details until SBA actually headquarters released the information this past weekend. So we're really excited to get this information out. Like you said, the website's sba.gov/restaurants. There's lots of details on there, but also there's an area where you can sign up to receive e-news alerts and see a sample application. So the window to apply isn't quite open yet. We think that's probably a few weeks off yet, but you can start getting ready. And so bars and restaurants can apply online, and they'll be able to do that on the SBA site, but also through some other partners that SBA has in the works. But the sample application is there. You can download it, take a look at what there is to fill out, but also it tells you what documents you're going to need during that application process.
And I'm looking right now at the who can apply: restaurants, food stands, food trucks, food carts, caterers, bars, saloons, lounges, taverns. Also on here, bakeries, brew pubs, breweries, wineries, distilleries, inns, licensed facilities. There's just a whole bunch of different things that all fall under this category. So even though it's sba.gov/restaurants, you might not consider yourself a restaurant, but you might absolutely fit into this category. And even though you can't sign up yet, now is a good time to go on there. So when it's time to sign up in the next week or so, you'll be prepared and ready to go, right?
Absolutely. And this is how the program's going to roll out. So the actual application window, when it's open to everybody, is going to be probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. But what we have right now that's going to be going on is a pilot program where we're going to launch it actually right away. Their SBA headquarters has a list of all the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program borrowers from across the nation, including right here in South Dakota. And they're going to pull from that database the small businesses that were they self-designated as a socially or economically disadvantaged businesses. So those categories really are minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, and veteran-owned businesses to begin with. So as long as they designated that during the PPP application period, they may be somebody who is selected to apply or to participate rather in this pilot. And so the pilot's going to go on for just a few days. These folks are going to get a chance to test the application platform to make sure it's working well. Now, they're not going to get their funds until this opens and to everybody in the next month, but they will be able to get their applications in first. We do anticipate that there will be several in South Dakota that will be automatically notified, and you'll get notified by SBA. An email probably will come from SBA.gov, and I'll have more details on that as we go. After the pilot program test is completed, the SBA is going to open it up for 21 days. The first 21 days is going to be SBA prioritizing reviewing applications from, again, small businesses that are owned by women, veterans, and minority-owned, socially and economic disadvantaged individuals. And following that 21-day period is when all eligible applicants are going to be encouraged to submit applications. So we're pretty excited about this. There's several $1 billion set aside for it. Minimum award is $1,000. But SBA may provide funding up to $5 million per location and up to $10 million total for an applicant if they have affiliated businesses. So that would mean if they have a string of restaurants and bars in different locations, it'll cap out at $10 million. So there's a lot of help coming for restaurants and bars, and we're really excited to bring it.
And thank you so much to Jamie L. Wood from the SBA in Sioux Falls. The website, if you'd like to get more information on this program, sba.gov/restaurants.
I kind of feel like I've been talking about BetterCreditCards.com forever now, but we want to mention that BetterCreditCards.com is designed to help you get a better credit card. Why should that matter to you? Because this can save you money every single month. There's no fee to check it out, so when you get a minute, click on the website BetterCreditCards.com and see if we can help you find a better credit card. Do it today. BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
It is Holy Humor Month, and on Sunny, that's brought to you by our friends at Crossroads Book and Music, and I'm super excited right now to visit with Colin Cruz, and he has a really cool ministry. It's called TheBlast.FM. Colin, how you doing, sir?
Doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Now, the thing that's fun is your ministry is a radio station, and you even do a radio show here on this radio station on Sunny. People can hear that on Sunday evenings. How long have you had TheBlast.FM?
So, The Blast Ministry is launched in 2005, and the first station of ours, The Blast, which is new rock, Christian rock music, launched in 2007.
And that's not all. You've got some other channels as well, don't you?
Yeah, so we launched The Blast January 1st, 2007 at the stroke of midnight, Central Time. 7 years later, January 1st, 2014, we launched our second station, The Blast Blender, which, believe it or not, plays cool pop music.
Nice.
It's cool Christian pop.
Nice.
And then, let's see, 3 years later, January 1st, 2017, we launched our third station, which is The Implosion, and that plays Christian metal, hardcore, and metalcore.
Yeah.
Lots of growling, screaming, but total Christian lyrics.
Yeah.
And our fourth station, which is of most interest to Sunny Radio listeners, is the Blastozoic Era, which we launched January 1st, 2018. And it's got 3 4-hour shows that air twice daily. We do 4 hours of 80s Christian rock and metal. Then we do 4 hours of 90s Christian modern rock and alternative. And then we do 4 hours of 2000's Christian modern rock. We have the early Blastozoic era, the middle Blastozoic era, and the late Blastozoic era, 80s, 90s, zeros. You take 2 hours. You take the early, which is the 80s, and the middle, which is the 90s. Perfectly fits your format as far as the time scale of the 80s and 90s. And that's Sunday nights from 10 to midnight.
And I absolutely love that program. I listen every Sunday night on Sunny Radio. And if you'd like to find Colin, we've got a link to them at SiouxFallsRadio.com as well. Now, Mr. Colin Cruz, it's Holy Humor Month. What do you have for me for a joke?
All right. There was a flight from Los Angeles to New York full of snooty coastal elites. You know, the kind of people where they get pulled over for doing something wrong on the road. They're like asking the cop, "Don't you know who I am?" You know, those kind of people.
Okay.
The plane was loaded with pagans, agnostics, and other religious people who thought they had no use for actually reading the Bible or praying. Except for one man. It was the evangelical Christian pastor. This man was an evangelist. He was born again, and he was on fire for Jesus, and he was letting everyone on the plane know it. For the first hour and a half of the flight, he thoroughly annoyed everyone in the flight. Not on purpose. He wasn't being rude, but he was praying for people. He was prophesying, speaking into their lives. He was praying in tongues. He was reading the Bible out loud. He shared his testimony about how Jesus saved him. He shared the gospel with people, and he endured much persecution as a result of this. People were spitting on him, slapping him, punching him, kicking him, screaming at him, telling him to shut up. It was totally clear to this pastor that everyone else in the plane seemed bound for hell. So he stood up at the front of the plane, and he started preaching a sermon. He shared some verses with them. He said, "It is appointed unto man once to die, and then the judgment," Hebrews 9:27. And then he talked about John 3:3. He said, "Unless a man's born again, he can't enter the kingdom of heaven." He wanted to explain what that spiritual rebirth looks like. He talked about how Jesus said this about himself: "I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me." He talked about John 1:12. He said, "To all who receive Jesus, he gave the right to become children of God." And then he asked, "Is there anyone who wants to receive Jesus Christ into their hearts?" And as a chorus, in unison, they all shouted, "No!" One of the flight attendants told him, "Forget about it. Now shut your pie hole." So at about the 90-minute mark of the flight, the plane full of snooty coastal elites hit flyover country, where it's often very windy. We know this.
Yeah.
The plane hit some major turbulence. It was so turbulent, in fact, that the plane was swinging back and forth wildly and uncontrollably. The airplane started a downward trajectory, and it was clear the plane was going to crash.
Oh.
At this point, the pastor on board was so discouraged, he thought to himself, as the Bible says, it doesn't pay to cast pearls before swine. He had already tried to minister to everybody on board. They'd all rejected the message. So he just stayed silent and prayed quietly. People were screaming and hollering, "We're going to die!" Finally, one of the pagans on board shushed everybody, stood up angrily, pointed at the holy man, and judgmentally yelled, "You're a pastor. Why don't you do something spiritual?" So the pastor humbly and slowly stood up. He faced the rest of the passengers, and with a sad look on his face, he removed his cap, and then, with his cap, he took an offering. Well, you told me to do something spiritual.
There you go. I love that. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us here. And for folks that want to find TheBlast.fm, where do they find you on the internet?
Well, you just said it. TheBlast.fm, that is the name of our first station. So if you go to TheBlast.fm, take you to our site. And we got links to all 3 other stations on there. So have at it and get your blast on.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Again, Colin Cruz is with TheBlast.fm. They've got 4 different Christian radio stations. We've got a link to all of them at SiouxFallsRadio.com. Holy Humor Month has been brought to you by Crossroads Book and Music in Sioux Falls.
Addiction. It's a problem for many, and addiction can drive away those who love you the most. Addiction can also lead to the loss of jobs, broken relationships, and, if you're not careful, addiction can even cost you your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at Time4Rehab.com. We want to help. Time4Rehab.com. That's Time4Rehab.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, April 20th, 2021. The equity markets pulled back on Monday following last week's surge to new highs. The earnings euphoria is being tempered by increasing signs of rising inflation and the prospect of higher interest rates from the FOMC. The latest indications of systematic inflation come from Alcoa and Coca-Cola. Alcoa reported better than expected revenue and earnings that were driven by high demand and rising prices for aluminum. Coca-Cola, a large consumer of aluminum, indicated in its earnings report that it would raise prices to combat higher input costs in the face of higher demand. The takeaway for investors is the market is riding on high hopes of economic rebound, but in danger of correcting if the inflation data gets too hot. The S&P 500 is about 3% above its closest support target, with no major data due out until the end of the week. Until then, the focus will be on the earnings reports. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.